about thinking and talking about thinking. So that's our plan for this morning, this afternoon or evening, depending on where you are. But I would like to welcome everybody to this web jam session. And we are live on YouTube. Excellent. So welcome to the hungry learners, the compassionate facilitators, the cheeky co-creators, change makers, whoever you are here today, people who want to learn, want to jump in the sandbox and play with us and fail forward. There is no other way, as we say. What we would like for you to do is be kind, be nice, create together a safe space for this conversation that we're going to have over the next hour. This is all about empathy and all about making connections with other people in this wonderful community, or the village, as we like to call it, of Wednesday Web Jam. With that, I'd like to introduce our guest today, who is also a crew member, a newly anointed crew member of Wednesday Web Jam. Swareena Joshi is a new friend of mine. She's a service designer from India who started as a product designer and then kind of wandered into this same space of designing services and designing for humans. So she has a design background. She's done work in fintech and food automation. Never even heard of it, but that sounds really interesting. I guess it's getting hot coffees out of a vending machine like you do in Japan. That's always kind of fun. And then she's a big, passionate traveler, conversationalist, and explorer of all things. So she's going to help us explore the world of thinking and the conceptual mindset. With that, what I'm going to do is I will stop sharing my screen, and Swareena, I'm going to hand it over to you. Take it away.
Yes, thank you very much, Mark. So, all right. So thank you, Mark, for such interesting, nice welcome. And I'm Swareena, so as Mark mentioned, and as a service designer, what I really like about it is it's all about collaboration, experiences, and experiments. And to talk, and the purpose of me being a designer, or the purpose I want to achieve, is that I want to spread smiles with my work. And talking about smiles, my friends have to bear with my lame jokes and amazing surprises. I also give good surprises to people. So as he also mentioned, I love nature a lot. And in the room, I'll be the one who's asking lots of questions and observing people around. From observation, today's our talk. Today, the topic we have decided today is about conceptual mindset. And as I said, as is the norm of WWJ, it's all about interaction. So make sure you engage, collaborate, share, and we all are here to have fun. So have fun. To start with, I want you guys to type in chat about what is the recent activity you did with your gut feeling. So it can be anything. It can be like me liking a post on social media, or I went to a grocery store with no plans, but the moment I saw the nacho chips, I had to grab it. If you can type it in the chat, let's see what all are the recent activities happening that had happened in the room.
Yes, Swareena, I think you're breaking up a little bit, at least for me. But I just to repeat, I put in the chat the prompt. So just if you, Elena, you have the idea. If you want to just put an example of a time when you just made a decision with just your gut feeling, and just tell us a little bit about that.
Someone just mentioned refuse to take up a job. Oh, that's a very big decision. Interesting.
Yes.
Street food, yum. All right, so we have some interesting answers here. We have a follow-up thing to do with it. So we'll be that's our first jam session, where we will be in breakout rooms of 2. And you have to share about what were you evaluating, what were you thinking when you were directed to that action. So it can be like, for example, when I liked the post on social media, I was thinking how engaging was the post? How was the color scheme, the content, or where did it transform me into? Which place? Or when I was grabbing the nacho packet in the grocery store, I was like, it's not healthy, but I can have it to munch on sometimes when I feel like it. Or a movie that I can watch with it. I can have cheese with it. So what will complement with it? So all of this thoughts were going on in my head. So now I would like if you could share in breakout rooms, what was the activity and what thoughts you were evaluating. So
perfect. So I will open the breakout rooms. We're going to put you in pairs. You should show up with one other person, and we want you to have a quick chat about this moment when you had a gut feeling reaction and what happened in your mind when that happened. So I'm going to hit the hyperspace button. We'll have you back in just about 3 or 4 minutes, and we'll see you when you get back. Off you go. Okay, so we have a couple of folks filtering in here.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, we still have Elizabeth and Indrajit. I think he's been sent to a breakout room. Cool. So tell me about why don't you share with me, Swareena, a time when you've made this kind of, other than the nachos.
Other than the nachos, I think a very recent example is when I was taking a shower, water went into my ears. So I was like, oh, damn, now what am I going to? So I was like thinking of all the science experiments I did in school to try to get it. It's not out yet, so I can't hear from one ear, but I tried science experiments, gravity. So I think that's, I went on internet and I searched for something, and then again, I was evaluating them. So I think that would be my recent experience.
Cool. And so what went on in your head when that happened?
So when I was first thinking on what would be the basic step that I can do, that is sleep on this side. And I did that, and I slept. I slept for like whole night because it happened yesterday. And then I was like, now what? So then was the next step, which I had to go on internet. And I also used the next step, which is talking to Jimena, who gave me a very crazy idea. It was like, try it with a matchstick. I was like, what? It's something that's done in her culture. So yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
That's my recent recent encounter with it. What was yours?
Oh, I don't know. I knew you were going to ask this question, and a recent gut feeling decision. I think I do a lot of things at the end. I think I believe a lot of times you start with a gut feeling, and then you go and you rationalize and you analyze, or I do. And then I end up going through all that process and then pretty much going back to my gut feeling and making the decision based on the gut feeling. That's the way it happens a lot for me. Cool. So should we, how much, give people another minute? I think for them, I'll just tell people another minute.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Cool.
1 minute.
Hi, Manuela. We're in the middle of the jam. You're welcome. We're talking about today about conceptual thinking and how our mind works in making decisions. So Swareena is our guest today, and we have folks out in breakout rooms for just 3 or 4 minutes, and they're going to be coming back in just a few seconds.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, I'm closing the breakout rooms now, and we'll have folks filtering back in about 60 seconds. Swareena, what made you so curious about this subject?
So basically, I think as designers, and as human beings, we constantly are doing conceptual thinking. It goes so unseen and unnoticed that I thought, let's take people on the side of making them aware of what's happening behind every action that they take.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and it ties in with service design too, right? Because in service design, oftentimes you're trying to design things around people's behaviors and understanding how people are making decisions and what drives those decisions is certainly part of the design process, right? Something that you need to take into account. Yeah,
definitely.
And how about, what do you think about when we're mapping journeys? Oftentimes we look at the emotional graph. Do you think that plays as well in all of this, the decision making? I suppose your emotions certainly make an impact, right?
Definitely. Your emotions, your background, all the factors come into picture. Your situation, what you might do different, you might take different decisions for the same same question, or depending on the situation you are in.
Yeah.
And your mood also plays a very important role, the people around you. So
right.
Everything is influencing.
Cool.
When we are.
Okay, we're all back.
Yeah. Okay, yep. So, okay, welcome back, everyone. So I hope there was interesting conversations that happened, and you tried to go back in the moment and reflect what all happened. So can you put it in the chat about what was happening? What did you notice about what happens in your brain when you have to take a decision? Or if someone can share.
Yeah.
Colin, you want to share?
Are you picking me out?
Yes.
Well, just to clarify, I was actually by myself in the breakout room for quite a while. So I had a conversation with myself about gut feelings against my intuition to talk to myself. And just to slightly change it, I actually have been dealing with some gut issues of late. And so this idea of a gut feeling for me is very palpable, very, very, very strong physical sensation as opposed to intuitive feeling. So having said that, as a counter to your question, something that happened of late where I ignored my gut feeling. I had that strong physical sensation. I had an intuition, I had a gut feeling, but I went against it. And immediately it proved to be the wrong decision. It proved to be counter to what a kind of sensory intelligence was telling me.
So now if you have to evaluate that, where do you think that gut feeling came from? Like, if you have to track that, and you think that was the best decision you would have made. So
well, it was a sense of what to do, which I ignored because my intellectual mind wanted it. I was attached to an outcome, and so if I had to track it, I think what you're asking us to do here, I started coming up with reasons and explanations as to counter that intuitive gut feeling. Yeah, if I don't know if that's useful for you.
Yeah, definitely. It's like everyone has their own way of it, so it's fine. And also we have an interesting answer here from Margaret. Margaret, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. At the moment, nothing. It starts after the action. Doubt in my case. That's a very interesting answer. I would like to know more about it.
If I just do something from a gut feeling, I just react. And then afterwards, you start thinking about what have I done or things like that.
Wow. So yeah, it sometimes happens. You just do it in the moment, and then later you're like, Why, what? So yeah, that's true. Okay, that's interesting. Anyone else who wants to share? We have Jungian sharing, going against or not being aware of the gut feeling usually makes me restless. Wow.
Yeah.
Can you share? Can you?
Yeah.
Can you
Yes. Even talking about the gut feeling is far too aware and conscious. So in my case, if the gut feeling tries to tell me something and makes me act, it's done in a split second. So the thinking is far too slow, and then the thinking realizes something happened and tries to put it in a more logical order. So this is me talking to myself, like my other crew members in this session know I need to talk to myself. So by talking, then you put it in the right order as if you can accept it. But it's so silly if you think about it now, that speech helps, or you need it to put it in a right order to hear yourself. But it was done already in a split second, and
Wow.
and feels okay too.
Yeah.
It feels okay. Yeah.
I think that's the power. Like, it happens in such split seconds that we don't even realize where it is coming from.
No.
That's true. Okay, so to continue with our. Okay, so yeah, can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Yes. So basically, like Union said, it happens in split second, and we are making such split second decisions throughout our day so many times. We have micro and macro thoughts happening. They're so subtle and organic that they go unseen. We don't notice those beautiful self debates and self conversations that are happening in our head. And Malcolm Gladwell is one of my favorite writer, and he is a storyteller. And his book Blink, it starts with a story about Getty Museum buying a Greek statue on loan. So the statue had all the documents that mentioned, yes, it's an authentic one. But when experts, art collectors and experts saw it, they just justify their answer. So what was happening? Conceptual thinking happening. They were making connections from their past experiences.
Well, Swareena, we're losing you, unfortunately. Or is it just me? Same thing? Okay. I think we lost Swareena. Well, while we're waiting.
So what gut feeling is going on now?
My gut feeling is that her internet has failed. But I have to think about it a little bit, because it's not that. When I was talking with Swareena about this session, the thing that came to my mind was the work by Daniel Kahneman about System 1 and System 2. And I see some heads nodding. Swareena, you're back. I was just filling the time with the System 1, System 2 conversation, but are you good? Do you want me to show the slides instead? Would that be easier for you?
I think I would love your help if you can share my screen, because I'm joining from my iPad now.
No problem.
With my laptop, I can't connect. So if you could share the screen, it would be great.
I've got it, and you can do like we do in the big conferences and just tell me next slide, please.
Yes, definitely. I think we are on slide 14.
Okay. Let me see.
Sorry for the network and.
Oh yeah, no worries. It happens. Slide 14. I will get to slide 14 here for you in just a second. Okay. What is conceptual thinking?
Yes. What is conceptual thinking? So it is all about mental model where you make meaning from abstract thoughts and from your assumptions. And as I was telling Mark, the reason I chose this topic was because I think in our day-to-day life, we think so much that what we remember is what we try to scan through it is just 10%, and what we remember is 5%. And when it comes to communicating, it's just 2%. It's not even 2% of it that gets communicated. So I thought like it would be interesting to have a session where we kind of track our thoughts and the way we think in our daily life, and make ourselves responsible and aware of all this thinking that goes behind. So, and it's not just in our personal life. Like in the first session, you realize that how we used conceptual thinking in our surrounding, in our daily life, and it's the same way we use it when it comes to professional scenarios. Like, for example, right now we are in WWJ session. We are having discussions. So right now we are doing conceptual thinking. Then when you are in a meeting, you are if your client proposes like, okay, this is the brief, how are you going to approach it? So then your brain quickly starts scanning, okay, these are the design tools I know, this is the outcome it can give, and this one can be helpful for this project. So that's the quick connections that you make to justify and then share your answer with it. So we all use it. It's just important that we see it and have our strong voices, pay attention to it. And the more we do it, we'll see the world full of possibilities. And that's the reason I wanted to take this topic for today. Next slide, please. Thank you. So basically, when we ask a conceptual thinker about a question or some suggestion, so what happens? A conceptual thinker scans in the brain all the knowledge that they have. Then they'll start thinking, okay, they'll start criticizing what's right, what's wrong. Then if they see any gaps, they'll be creative and make their own connections. They'll try to scan this whole scenario. What will be the problem? If they do this, what will happen if they do that? So after all these calculations in their head, they'll come up with, they'll bring the puzzle pieces together, and you will have a very authentic, unique answer for yourself. So that makes it special. That is going to be an authentic answer given by that person. So next slide, please. Thank you. So mastering this skill has lots of advantage. Like, for example, you can be a good leader because you're very open-minded. You will pay attention to details. You will be very motivated. And when you see any obstacle or any challenge that's coming your way, you can find a way out because you are thinking on the spot. And as a team player, you will see the bigger picture on where your work fits in. So basically, it's like, okay, I know this is the project. This is what my part is going to help in it. So your work gets more reliable. Your work, people start trusting you more. And again, as I said, as you know where your thought process is coming from, you're very clear in your conversation, making connections. That means much more people get connected to you. They'll believe in your vision. So you see the traits of a futurist, a philosopher, a behavior analyst, everything coming together in one person when he's explaining himself as a conceptual thinker. Next slide, please. So yes, so here we are for our next jam session. And in the first one, I think there's a slide in the middle, right? Can you go one slide back? Yeah. Yes, this one. Perfect. So in the first jam session, we saw how we use conceptual thinking in our daily activities. So now in the second one, we are going to have a universal topic, and we are going to see how our conceptual thinking can, making such connections can help answer bigger questions and have our own voice about certain things. Next slide, please. So, okay, so we'll be in breakout rooms again with 3 to 4 people for 10 minutes, and you will have a statement written, and you have to read the statement and think for yourself on, okay, do you agree with the statement or disagree with it? And whatever your answer is, try to put it in bullet points. So if you agree, take a green post-it. If you disagree, take a red one. And whatever your justification is, put it in bullet points and just share and have discussions. So the purpose is to try and understand what is the thinking pattern that is going on with you, with other members in your team. And yes, it's all about conceptual thinking. So don't go on internet searching for stuff. It's all what happens in your head. And it's all what you think is right and wrong, as far as you can justify where it is coming from. So, and yes, before we go, there are some pro tips that I can share. The first one is basically the first circle. See around you. What is your culture? What is happening in your industry? What is your story? Where are you coming from? What your experiences? That's the first circle. Always start with the first one. Then there's the second one, which is the knowledge. You would have seen a YouTube video or Spotify podcasts, a book that you read. Second one is knowledge, all about what you talk to your friends, what they shared with you. That's the second circle. And then coming to the third one, which is my favorite one, which is try using metaphors, find solutions in the parallel industries and get inspired. So the book recently I was reading had genomics compared with internet in 1994. So that comparison made it so easy for me to understand the timeline. So make such unique comparisons to explain your point. So yes, next slide, please. I think it's mural board. If you can share the mural board.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, and I will.
So we have a quick example for you before you go into the breakout rooms. Can you zoom into the example board?
Yes, I will. Just trying to do a bunch of things.
Thank you.
At once. Yeah, there we go.
Thank you. So yes, as you see here, the statement here is the planet is going to drown in water in the future. So for me, my opinion is, yes, it might be a possibility. So I take a green Post-it, and I think because first thing is there is lots of investment going on floating cities. Then there is lots of ice melting, or you can see the floods increasing in the world. So that's my justification for my answer. So that way you can have your own personal justification. And yeah, so that's the activity which is planned. Make sure you have fun, and it's all about your personal, what you think. So see it from different perspectives, visualize, and be creative, make logical patterns, and enjoy.
Awesome. So we're going to talk about how your mind works, and as we're going to do that as a group. When you get into the mural, when you click on that link that is in the chat, you'll come and you'll see this view. And when you get into your breakout room, there will be a number of your room. There will be 3 rooms. So room 1, go to group 1, room 2, go to group 2, and room 3, go to group 3. So go to the area with the same number and have this discussion. We'll bring you back in about 10 minutes. Okay, off you go. Super.
Yes.
All right, great job, Swareena.
Thank you. Can I try joining from my laptop?
Sure,
so,
sure.
Because it's very weird to see everyone small, tiny, and
yeah, right, exactly. Okay, so I will stop sharing. Perhaps, well, I'm going.
Maybe we can do an activity, a group which is not occupied. We can jump there and put our thoughts of conceptual thinking on that in that group.
Yeah. Okay. So, Yin, you're here with us. Okay, great. So
do you want me here, or do you want me in the breakout room? No,
it's good to have you here. Yeah, no, I think we're good. It looks like we've got 4 people in each room, or 5. So cool. Our activity is aliens exist, and that's the prompt, and we have to decide whether we agree or disagree.
Okay.
We take a minute or so to decide whether we agree or disagree. Is that right? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, I think so.
you're right.
All right. So I'm gonna think about this and decide whether I agree or disagree, and then write down in the sticky note, if I agree, in green, a sticky note about why I agree. Right? Okay. Same thing with you guys.
Yep.
Elizabeth, you can join in too, if you can. I don't know why that's moving. Okay. Yeah, these weren't locked. Ah. All right, great. So shall we discuss who, I see somebody disagrees that aliens exist. That must be somebody just trying to be different. Who is that? Who disagreed? Is that you, Yun?
Perhaps Elizabeth.
Oh, Yun, so it's Elizabeth.
Yeah, it's well. I'll try to take just a few seconds to tell my initial thoughts. So there was a thought as, oh, how stupid that we as human beings still have this word alien. You know, what is hidden in this word alien then? What are we trying to capture? Well, we have no image or experience or any clue what an alien is then. So I guess there suddenly was the gut feeling of, let's take an orange Post-it. How about you?
Is that so? Did you do that? We have been traveling to outer planets and have not discovered aliens. Is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So,
Okay.
You have two opinions. So you're stuck in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah.
I totally think that there are aliens. We've been traveling to outer planets of our solar system, which is a speck. It's not even a speck. It's an atom inside of, this massive, we can't even imagine how big the universe is. Yeah. So I just, probability to me seems that there would be another planet, moon, something that would be able to support some sort of other form of intelligence. I don't know. So that's it. So when I'm thinking about it, I'm just thinking, my gut was for sure. Yeah, there's no question. But that's because I've thought about this question before, and I've already made the decision. And that decision was based on probably an initial disbelief as a child that aliens could exist, because I saw these pictures of science fiction of, things with horns and teeth and stuff like that. And I thought, oh, that's scary. Earth is Earth. And, I was also raised in a pretty religious environment. And, religion said we're the only ones, right? But over time, as I learned about how, science, this thing called science, and looking at telescopes and things like that we can measure a lot of stuff, or at least we think we can. Yeah. There must be something out there.
True. And also, like you mentioned, there is lots of influence that happens of things happening around. The alien images that you said you saw, and the telescope and everything that shows there's lots outside. that we have
Yeah.
not been to yet. And
Yeah.
even if you have to ask me, I think aliens do exist, because I've seen many documentaries where people share their stories that they have seen something happening. And yeah, I don't know if I have to believe it or not, but the way they were saying it, the story in the documentary, it made me feel like they might be saying something true. And again, we speak about parallel universe, right? That it would be happening somewhere else. And so even I think aliens would be someone that exists.
Yeah. While we are chatting like this, I strongly feel like, to express, I do believe something is outside there that has a form. I don't dare to say it has a heartbeat, but perhaps it has, because so it is there and perhaps multiplying. We here on Earth, we say, okay, it has a heartbeat, it's living, perhaps. I do feel the curiosity and also the openness, but really the curiosity. What can it be? How does it look like? Where is it? Can I one day call it? Get in touch with it. So the curiosity I do feel, and I'm expecting this amazement, positive and light, and immediately also kicks in like, oh, it could also be a little bit scary. Could be, could these kind of thoughts. Yeah, and just fully open to it. And where does that come from? I am not too sure. I'm not too sure. I guess also in my youth, watching fantasy films and let's say Cantonese TV series, we fly back in time, fly forward, all this. So going back and forward. Yeah, my mind can do that too.
That's true.
So, but that's not reality. We know that.
True. And also, as you're talking about this, we have never seen a creature we think that exists. Apparently, it's said that all the gods that we have in Indian tradition, the gods that we have, it's said that they were aliens in the past. They are the aliens who came and who did this civilization and went back very far. So it might also be possibility that they were here before, then they left it in the state that we are here right now, and they went back. And I sometimes think the person next to you in the metro station might be him, might be an alien, like the movies influence us. So it can be anything,
Yeah.
It's just the curiosity is the limit when it comes to topics like this.
Yeah,
we have just we can leave the breakout room open a little bit. I think our schedule had us go to about a quarter to the hour, so I can keep it open for another couple of minutes if you want, Swareena. It's up to you.
That works. Yes, that works. We can even jump into other break. Can we go and see what's happening in the breakout rooms?
We can. You mean go into the breakout room or just see what they're doing on the screen?
No, we can just go in and then come out from the breakout room.
We haven't tried it.
And
no, I don't want to do that because I told them that that the YouTube wouldn't be going in the room.
Not for the YouTube, like, because I'm not the admin. I don't see the, like, just for me to go in and
yeah,
see
if you want to go in, go.
You go ahead. Yeah.
We can see what's happening.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm gonna close in 2 minutes.
Okay, then 2 minutes is very less. It's fine. And also, I think I'm not the I'm not the admin. So.
Oh, because you came out and are you on your laptop the same one where you had problems?
Yes,
you may want to go back to your at least for the audio for your presentation. You may want to go back to your iPad, I guess it was that you were using. But
okay, anyway, so that was better?
That was much better. Yeah. Okay. Oh, everybody's coming back. I'm going to go ahead and close the rooms. Or did the rooms already close? I guess the room's already closed.
An alien did that, Mark.
An alien.
You didn't see it, but I saw it.
Maybe you're the alien, Union.
Oh, well.
I don't know. Am I sharing my screen? I don't think I am I?
Yeah.
Yes? You can see my screen.
It's
Jam too? Okay. Okay. Some things happen unexpectedly. All right. So Swareena, are you there? You can just stay there if you want, or if you can switch. Yeah, I mean, if you just be ready to switch if your audio goes out again.
I'm here. Can you hear me? Oh,
Yeah.
It's automatically getting mute. But yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
better. Okay.
Yes. All right. So welcome everyone. Welcome back. So we'll go breakout. If someone from the breakout room can share what was a surprising link that was made. What was your topic first of all, and what was a surprising link that was made in your group? And as human beings, the things around us influence us all the time. So everyone has their own way of thinking, their own way of thought process. So what was the common factor that you found amongst other people and you? And what was something inspiring that happened? Like, what was an inspiring thought process that you got influenced or inspired by from your team member or someone in your breakout room? So if someone can share.
Well, I don't mind sharing. So what I discovered we had in common was that we didn't have anything in common.
Wow.
No, no, not so much. I'm playing a little bit. But the one comment that I made, which I thought was interesting, is in discussing this, our statement was the world economy will run without any fiat currencies.
Mm-hmm.
And so immediately I certainly did, and I think my collaborators did as well. We began to sort of try to understand that in terms of a specific timeline, some semantics about, well, what does fiat currency actually mean? And then underneath it said fiat money is a government issued currency. So we know that, but then, well, does that mean it has to be paper money? And that sort of thinking went on to talk about different systems of trade, where it could be general reciprocity of trading in goods and services. And so the one thing I think was common for us was around the timeline. How far into the future, because it was a kind of a futuristic statement, how far into the future are we talking? Because whether it's 20 years or 50 years or 100 years, it's all speculation, but the anticipation of different technologies in 100 years is very different to 20 years time.
That's true. And timeline plays a very important role when we are trying to understand and justify stuff around. That's interesting.
Is this the group you were in? The world economy will run without any fiat currencies? Is that what that was?
Yeah.
Never mind. I was going to make a joke about cars, but fiat is a funny word for me. Okay, never mind.
Anyone else wants to share how it went? And yeah.
I'll go. One of the thing that I realized from those 3 tips that you put is that for this type of thinking, I depend a lot on knowledge. And so, as you said, don't research. It was based on a little bit on things I've read and I know, but it's not really my area of expertise. So actually what we ended up putting is agree, disagree. At least in my case, it was a lot more based on gut feeling than actual knowledge. And had I been able to research and have some time to go after that, maybe the answers would have been a bit different.
Agreed. So the whole purpose of this was to see on how you can justify yourself in the moment with all the knowledge you have. It as I said in the initial phase, it was not about will you be right or wrong. How you make connections, like, okay, it's a new topic. What is fiat currency? If someone doesn't know, it's fine. How you make sense about it on the spot by reading reading that topic. That is, I think I stopped. Yeah, that is what was the whole thing about. So but I would like to know, what was your topic in the group?
I was in Colin's group.
Okay.
It was exactly that one, the fiat currencies.
But it's also like he mentioned, you went into different times, right? Like in the past, how you used to do barter system. And then, okay, how much time it took from barter system to exchanging with gold. And then now we have currencies, and now we have Web 3.0. And we had 2 interesting jam sessions before about it. So it's all how we make sense in the moment with the connections. So yes, and anyone else, any other group members would like to share?
I would like to invite Elena, because I don't know Elena. Welcome. Please go ahead.
Me?
Yes.
Yes, okay, let me share. We had interesting discussions about definitions. Our topic was mobility, unrestricted mobility, will be realized sometime soon. And it was very interesting to find out our different thinking styles and the pre-assumptions we had, the different ways we interpreted the statement. One was more from the economic point of view, another one from the socio-political, another one from the human rights. And after we started discussing a little bit, we all said, okay, we have to work on the definition, to agree on the definition of unrestricted mobility. So that was really indicative of how the preconceptions and the background knowledge and interests shape the interpretation of a statement. So yeah,
that's interesting. I really like how everyone interpreted even the sentence that was there written, and then you made connections out of it. That's very interesting to know. Okay, all right. So how many breakout rooms we had in total? Any other breakout room? Any other interesting topic that was there?
Yeah, we had 3.
We had 3. Okay, so who wants to volunteer from the 3rd room? And what was the topic on the 3rd one? Someone would like to share.
We had the topic, electric vehicle is the future solution for the environment. And what I found interesting was that we were all against, but for different reasons.
What were the reasons?
Yeah, so someone was against for practical reasons, because it doesn't work in the winter with snow, or there are not enough charging stations. So those were practical reasons. That electricity is not the only solution. So, and well, yeah, and that's for the environment. Yeah, we don't have this basically cradle to cradle concept for electric vehicles.
That's true. Wow, that's interesting. And this was, I think, one of the topic which is like actually the problem happening now. The EU government is promoting electric vehicles, and on the other side, they are increasing the prices of electricity. So they are kind of contradicting themselves. So I think this was a very interesting topic to discuss. And the way I think for me also, it's an interesting way how you divided the whole sentence into words and then made sense out of, okay, what is good in this word? What is good in that? That's quite interesting for me also. Thank you for sharing. It's very nice. All right. So
I'm curious what people think about the difference between the conversation that you had with 2 people and the conversation that you had with like 4 people. And the way you framed it, Swareena, was me and we, right? So the me is more like, oh, here's how I think, and here's how I think about that original prompt in the first breakout. Whereas when you get together with 4 people, is this thing called groupthink, is that really a thing? The conversations you have in your own mind, and then the conversations you have with other people, how does that affect how you think? I don't know.
I think that's a very interesting question that you asked. And if someone wants to share how that changed from when you were thinking in the starting phase, when you first read the sentence and you were thinking for yourself, and then when everyone started pitching it, did you change your idea? Did you change what you thought about it?
Eleni, you want to say more?
Share. Yes, let me share, because my example is indicative. Because I had such a restricted interpretation of the statement that it really opened up my mind when I started listening to the others, because I thought that mobility identified mobility with disabled people. Probably because I have this kind of work, and afterwards I realized, after I heard the other ones, that no, it is not about disabled people. No, there was no place for that. So yes, radical change.
Okay, so all right, so now thank you everyone for sharing. It was really nice to see how everyone interpreted the whole jam session, the sentence, and made their own connection. So, okay, so can we go on the next slide, please? All right, so after understanding how conceptual thinking works, the initial push for it, it's like a skill which can be taught, which can be learned, practiced, and polished. So if you want to master this more, the first and the most important thing is to gain as much knowledge as you can from different fields. So ask questions, be curious, go read more. So first aspect is to gain a lot of knowledge, and the second one is make your own connections, be authentic, create your own synthesize it for yourself and use it. Where will you use it? So take lead, go talk to people, attend lots of WWJ sessions where you can get chance to use your conceptual mindset, and as more you read, more knowledge you have, more unique connections you can make. The more connections you can make, the more confidence you will have about what you say. You will be more authentic. People will be curious to know your opinions. They'll reach out to you. So I think the next slide, Mark. Yeah, this one. Yeah. So keep practicing, and next slide, please. Yeah. So I hope that it was initial spark is there, and I would like to know how you use it and create impact through conceptual thinking. Share your story with me on my email ID, or that's the QR code for my LinkedIn. So I would like to know how you used it. And special thanks for Mark for jumping in last minute as a co-handler, Jimena for being throughout, and everyone for joining. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for coming in.
Awesome. Thank you, Swareena. So this is a great example of how we get anybody can come into the sandbox that we call Wednesday Web Jam and share a thought. This was something I think Swareena is very passionate about, had thought about, and wanted to just explore with this wonderful community that we have. If you have some ideas, you're welcome to submit those ideas. For example, we have next week coming up Richard Perez, who is the former head of Procter & Gamble's Innovation Gym, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his experience there, as well as diving into a little bit deeper into the one of the tools that they use, which is a thinking style tool that talks about what kinds of teams and team composition you need to have to get to innovation. Is really interesting subject, and we'll talk about one of the poster child companies that has been well known for doing innovation, whatever that means to you. So Richard will be with us next week. It's going to be really exciting. as I mentioned, you're welcome to submit a jam, an idea for a jam. Our team will evaluate that idea, get in touch with you, and we're always looking for folks to come in and experiment and play in our sandbox. So you can use that link, and that's also in the chat. Thank you very much, Donna. And you can always like and follow us on the socials. Here's the team, a bunch of faces. You can also go to our website, WednesdayWebJam.com. Really hard to remember, WednesdayWebJam.com, and explore there. You can also get links to all the past sessions. We're well over 100 and something, 110, 115, I think now. And we are a all volunteer run organization. We have a few little small expenses, like the Zoom and MailChimp and all those kind of things. So we would love a cup of coffee. If you want to buy us a cup of coffee, and click on our little Ko-fi link, and you can buy us a cup of coffee. So with that is the end of today's session. However, we have some of the funnest stuff that happens in the backstage. And before I do that, I'm going to stop the wonderful, actually, I think it probably may have already stopped. Oh, no, it didn't stop. I have to figure out how to stop I stop sharing, excuse me. And then we'll go to the backstage, and that's where we're going to have all the fun discussions. And stop live stream.
Aliens, Mark.
I know the aliens are in my machine.
They're coming for you.
Okay, Pedro Coelho is joining us. All right. For some reason, it is not stopping. I'm unable. My button is not working. So anyway, if you all want to stay around, I'm going to jump out and jump back in, and maybe that will work. And Yun, you are co-host, I believe, because I dropped out last time. And if you'll take over the backstage, thank you.
Yeah, of course. So very welcome in the backstage, everyone. And we can continue our little chat for some 30 minutes if you want to. And my first question here is for Swareena, who is for the first time also our guest to do a jam. So how do you feel? How do you think about your jam, Swareena?
Wow, I was super excited for it. It was my first time, and I think it went quite well. So I think I would like to hear from your side. For me, I enjoyed doing it, to be frank. I like being in the moment. So I would like to know from your side how it was for you to hear it from.
Thank you. Then, since I do not know Manuela, welcome in the jam. May I ask you to answer Swareena's question?
Yes, of course. Well, it was my first time here, so the positive is I can't compare you.
Yes.
I thought it was really interesting, and I've been trying to join these web jams for a while, but I'm now studying things precisely related to neuroscience and dual system